Hey everybody, how you guys doing? Welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great time, and I hope that Christmas is going to be wonderful for you guys and it'll be fun and family filled. Today we're going to talk about a OS that is independent, an OS that is based off of Ubuntu. It's called Vanilla OS. Vanilla OS is basically Ubuntu on a stock GNOME environment with an on-demand immutability. Basically, you can turn it on and off. And the program that you use to do that is called Almost. You can find that in the GitHub repo. I will put a link to it down below in the description. It tells you how to use it, and also it tells you, any different commands that you can apply with arguments as well with it. So it's a good read. It lets you turn it on and off so that way you could install stuff to it, because really the premise behind Vanilla OS is that when you install programs, they're pretty much so installed containerized. That's why it by nature wants you to use either Flatpaks, Snapped, or App Image. Believe it or not. Yes, it is that. So another thing that I wanted to tell you is that it uses the APX package manager, which works with DistroBox. So you can take a look at that. That was a package, and it was created by Luca Diamaio, and who was also involved in developing the OS. So they would, of course, want to integrate his packaging system into this. It's neat. It's a newer distro that's coming out. It's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, so this is the website. This is where I wanted to open up to. It is at https://vanillaos.org. Now, it's a very clean, nice looking website. You can do gaming with it. You can do, of course, workflow with it. You can do pretty much everything that you want with an Linux OS on here. But the difference is it's immutable, and it uses the Apex, as you see here, right here, it shows you right here, the Apex package installer, and it's immutable. So you can really limit the amount of damage that applications do to it. That is the good thing about containerized apps, such as Flatpaks, App Images, and Snaps, is that they're completely contained, meaning that dependencies that they need are already downloaded to them, and that they work seamlessly and flawlessly integratable into your operating system. However, the problem with them is that a lot of them don't do like .desktop files, so that you won't find them in your pull down or your menus for your applications. So you'll have to launch them through terminal or through a application that's used for Flatseal for Flatpak to launch Flatpak apps and stuff like that. So and there's also the App Image launcher. So there's many ways of launching them, but that are not traditional to what you would by clicking your activities button or whatever to launch them. So that's a point of thing to know about it. You'll be doing that a lot, unless you do keyboard shortcuts, assign global keyboard shortcuts to them to launch them. So like a lot of people do in their window managers. So that is a look at the page. But what I wanted to show you about their web page, the most important part is to familiarize yourself with this tab here called Handbook, because in it gives you, as you can see, the Vanilla OS installation, how to update and upgrade, and how to first set it up. I'll click on the first setup. It'll take you through the introduction. It's great documentation. It'll tell you how to pick your color scheme from light to dark, your package manager, this is literally it for the most part right here. Restricted codecs, how you can do those. Extra settings. And NVIDIA drivers right here. This will install your NVIDIA drivers. Also, open VM tools and other settings like GNOME tweaks and all that good stuff. So that's area of their webpage that you're definitely going to want to visit and familiarize yourself with. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at it. This is obviously your standard, excuse me, vanilla GNOME. Look, click on activities here. It opens up your standard vanilla GNOME, which here's your applications. As you can see, it does not have a whole truckload installed at it at all. So you've got extra extension managers, you've got music player, you've got video player, which if we open that up, we'll take a look at it and go to help, and it's Totem. It's what was known as Totem. It's called Videos now, but it used to be Totem, so it's the Totem player that you use for videos. Let's go back to your music. Let's see what that is. It's just it uses files for the GNOME file picker. So it's just the standard GNOME, vanilla GNOME music player. And then you have the developer preview, vanilla OS control center, vanilla first setup, the videos, of course, as I said, calculator. You got your settings manager, your system monitor, terminal, which is probably your standard GNOME terminal. Yep, GNOME terminal. So, like I said, it's vanilla GNOME all the way, 100%. So there's not a lot in here, and it uses GNOME disk utility. There are GNOME disks, and of course, it's got their archive manager. So, let's see here. File roller is what it is. And of course, as you can see, it's got the software center installed, the GNOME software center. So you can install stuff here. Now, let's see here. If you go to additional drivers, loading drivers. Of course, I'm on a VM, so it probably won't show much. No containerized apps. That's what's nice on the subsystem. It'll show you containerized apps. So now there's that. So now let's go back into this and let's take a look at the vanilla OS first setup, because this is where you set up kind of the important stuff right off the bat. And this is what pops up when you first do your install. So we're going to go ahead and start. Color scheme. We've got dark and you've got light, and then you've got dark. We're going to click next. Then your package manager right here. This is where you can enable FlatHub, Snap, and App Image. This is standard the way it came, so I just left it. I didn't do anything except but click next to it. Then VM tools, I'm not going to do that because I'm not putting a virtual machine inside of a virtual machine. No sense on that, so we're going to skip that one. Restricted codecs, let's do that. Let's install the following optional settings have been, yep. We're going to do app port. And then we're going to put in our root password. Okay, so system's ready to go. The changes are being applied. And I'll go ahead and pause it while this is finishing, and then I'll start it up again when it's done. Well, that took about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. It wants me to reboot now, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and quit that. And then we're going to try to reopen it again, see if we can move on to whatever the next step was after that. Let's start, next, skip, we've already done that. Next, that was enabled, then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're all done. So it wants me to reboot. So we're done with that. So I'm not going to reboot or anything like that, but that's exactly how that works. Up here in the bar in the center, you've got your date and time, which you can open up and see whatever it is, that you need for anything you may have for events scheduled or whatever. Also any notifications. And then over on the right-hand side, you have your system tray, which has got your power, which you click on the power button here to get to that. Also, it's got your volume, it's got your connectivity and which mode you're on as far as dark or light mode. I think that's your screenshot tool. Yep, so you can take your screenshot. So there's that. Now let's take a look at their control center. So it's loading any drivers it may need. There are none. As far as updates are concerned, you can tell it here to update or not. And your subsystem, no containerized apps are installed at all. So that's the control center. That's what that does. And then the developer preview. What this tells you is we're a tester because it's in its like alpha release. So they're still working on it, but it's still, you could use it to a degree as a daily driver. So disclaimer, this doesn't tell you any known issues, which are blank post-installation script, language not set, no automatic updates, uses ABR root for compatible update system at the moment, and it's not possible to receive updates as the feature is still under active development. So they're not completely developed it. So it won't do automatic updates on you. Suggested tests. We recommend that you try simple tasks to help vanilla OS and tell them about it. So make sure you feed back to them. Like I said, it's not meant to be a 100% daily driver at the moment. This is a preview look at it. So it's still under development, still progressing, but it's a pretty stable release on it so that you can test it, drive it. But I wouldn't make it my primary daily driver to use without it being, like I said before, limited, very limited as to what you do with it. Don't do anything that's kind of important, have fun, play with it, do games, that kind of stuff. So for web browser, it uses their Web 43 browser made by GNOME itself. So it uses that, and typical web browser. I mean, here's your tabs. Which is, I kind of like it because it's very minimalistic. Your preferences are right here. What are your preferences? You can turn on advertisements, all kinds of good stuff. So I mean, it's a pretty nice little web browser. As far as the photos, it's the GNOME Photo, or I don't know, what if it's the GNOME I or whatever it is, whatever it's called. No, it's called Photos. Anyhow, there's that. And then it's very basic, really. They got the GNOME files we looked at before, and then they got their help. And then for console, it's the GNOME terminal, which, as I said, they call it console, but it was actually GNOME terminal earlier. Very, very different. But anyhow, so you have console and GNOME terminal. There you go, installed. That's pretty much it. Under settings, of course, it's your usual suspects. Here where you can do your standard, settings. You will have to install GNOME tweaks in order to do anything, more customizable to that. So, but it is pretty well customized already. I love the global dark theme that you can implement into it and that kind of stuff. So, like I said, it's under development. It's pretty vanilla, which is why it's called vanilla. It is very limited on what it has. The package manager, like I said, is a containerized package manager, and it's immutable, so that whenever you install anything, it won't destroy your system. Also, you have to turn it off to actually install something to the system that isn't containerized. So other than that, you guys keep an eye out for it, test it, tell them what you think about it, any possible suggestions you may have for it, whichever. Also, don't forget to like, share, and comment on the video. If you have tested this out already and did some stuff with it and found out that there's some issues with it, or maybe something that it's really good at, don't be afraid to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. All right, guys, y'all stay blessed and keep doing what you guys do, and keep on Linuxing. Have a great day.